Frightened alien testifies. The harsh reality of fighting humans in war. The tribunal chamber fell silent as Vornik stepped onto the witness platform, his 3 legs trembling beneath his carapace. The Council of 12 sat in their elevated seats, their multifaceted eyes fixed upon him with unwavering attention. Vornik had faced plasma fire, survived 3 planetary sieges, and commanded a battalion of the finest Zethran warriors. Yet nothing had prepared him for this moment, recounting the nightmare that was fighting humans. "State your name and rank for the record," the chief arbiter commanded, her voice echoing through the crystalline walls. "Commander Vornik Talhesh, 3rd Fleet Expeditionary Force 7, he replied, his translator chip converting his clicks and whistles into universal standard. "You stand before this council to provide testimony regarding the war with the species known as humans. Your report has been flagged as concerning. Proceed." Vornik's breathing spiracles fluttered rapidly. "Honored council, I must warn the assembled. What I witnessed defies all conventional understanding of warfare. The humans, they are not like us. They are not like anyone." A murmur rippled through the gallery where hundreds of representatives from allied species watched. The chief arbiter raised one appendage for silence. "We engaged the human fleet near their colony world of Arcturus Prime," Vornik began, his voice steadying as he fell into the familiar rhythm of military reporting. "Our intelligence suggested a lightly defended outpost. We expected minimal resistance. We were catastrophically wrong." He paused, mandibles clicking nervously. "The humans fought with an intensity that bordered on madness. When we disabled their primary weapons, they used secondary systems. When those failed, they used tertiary backups. When everything failed, they rammed our ships with their own." "Ramming?" one council member interrupted. "Surely you mean desperate last measures." "No," Vornik said firmly. "I mean tactical ramming. Calculated, deliberate. They sacrificed smaller vessels to cripple our dreadnoughts. One human captain transmitted a message before impact. 'See you in hell.' Our linguists are still debating what hell means, but the intent was clear. The chamber erupted in shocked chittering and warbles. The chief arbiter demanded order once more. "But that was merely the beginning," Vornik continued, his voice dropping. "We managed to establish a beachhead on Arcturus Prime. Standard protocol suggested the colonists would evacuate or surrender. They did neither. Every settlement became a fortress. Every civilian became a combatant." He pulled up a holographic display showing footage from his helmet recorder. The assembled representatives watched in horror as elderly humans, some using mobility aids, fired weapons from windows. Juveniles, barely past their adolescent phase, constructed improvised explosives. This individual, Vornik zoomed in on a human female, was a medical professional, a healer. We detected no military training in her background, yet she eliminated an entire squad using nothing but medical supplies converted into chemical weapons, and her knowledge of Zethran physiology. He paused. "She studied us. During the battle, she was studying us to find our weaknesses." "Impossible," someone called from the gallery. "Combat adaptation requires years of training." "You would think so," Vornik replied bitterly. "But humans possess something we lack. They call it adrenaline. It is a biochemical response to danger that temporarily enhances their strength, speed, and pain tolerance. But more than that, it sharpens their focus. They become more dangerous when wounded, more cunning when desperate." He advanced the footage. "Here, one of our soldiers shot a human soldier 3 times. Center mass. Lethal wounds by any medical standard. The human did not fall. He returned fire, eliminated his attacker, provided covering fire for his unit, and walked 17 kilometers to an aid station before collapsing. He survived." The silence in the chamber was absolute. "They do not break," Vornik whispered. "That is what you must understand. We broke their supply lines, they foraged and hunted. We cut their communications. They used primitive visual signals and messenger runners. We destroyed their weapons factories. They made new weapons from our wreckage, from our own dead." His voice cracked. "I watched a human soldier fashion a spear from a piece of our hull plating and use it to breach our command post. A spear, against plasma rifles and kinetic barriers. And it worked, because we never imagined such primitive audacity." "What of their command structure?" asked a council member. "Surely eliminating their leaders would—" "Their command structure is redundant to the point of absurdity," Vornik interrupted, forgetting protocol in his agitation. Every soldier is trained to assume command. When we killed their officers, sergeants took over. When we killed sergeants, corporals led. When we killed them, privates continued the mission. We captured one of their junior personnel and asked him how long they would fight. He said, until the last human draws their last breath. We thought it was bravado. It was not. Vornik's entire body sagged. But the worst part, the part that haunts my sleep cycles, is that they remember. Every battle, every fallen comrade, every tactical mistake. They learn from it. Adapt. The strategies that worked in the first engagement failed in the second. By the third, they were predicting our movements. He looked directly at the council. They practice something called combined arms warfare. They integrate every available resource, ground troops, aircraft, orbital support, cyber warfare, even psychological operations, into a seamless whole. Each element supports the others. There are no gaps, no weaknesses to exploit. You speak as if they are invincible, the chief arbiter observed. No, Vornik said quietly. They die. They die in great numbers. But they choose to die advancing, not retreating. They choose to die accomplishing objectives, not fleeing. And every death fuels the survivors with renewed determination. They have a saying, we remember, and they do. They remember everything. He deactivated the hologram. I have fought the Krell swarms. I have faced the synthetic concordate. I have battled predators that hunt in the void. None of them, none, match the sheer relentless terror of fighting humans. They are not the strongest species, nor the fastest, nor the most technologically advanced, but they are the most dangerous because they simply refuse to lose. They will tear victory from defeat with their bare hands if necessary. Vornik took a shuddering breath. My recommendation to the council is simple. End this war. Negotiate, compromise. Give them whatever they demand. Because the alternative is fighting them until either they are extinct or we are. And honored council, I am not confident which outcome is more likely. The chamber remained silent for a long moment after Vornik finished. Finally, the chief arbiter spoke. This council will take your testimony under advisement. You are dismissed, Commander. As Vornik descended from the platform, his legs still trembling, he heard whispers following him. Some called him a coward. Others called him wise. But all of them, he knew, would soon learn the same truth he had. Humanity did not just fight wars. Humanity embodied war itself, relentless, adaptive, and utterly unbreakable.